Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dongxiong. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. China's major challenge lies in its population, particularly the declining population. Unlike other countries, China's low employment rate stems from its highly irrational industrial structure. As a populous nation, China should prioritize the development of labor-intensive industries. Why is this important? Because in a country with a large population like China, the growth of labor-intensive industries ensures widespread employment, thereby guaranteeing social and national stability. However, in practice, we observe that China's industrial landscape, including the new energy vehicle sector, is favoring technology-intensive industries over labor-intensive ones. Many previously thriving labor-intensive sectors in China have suffered due to government policies. Therefore, if China's population decline continues, it could lead to alarming consequences. Japan and South Korea boast a low unemployment rate due to the preservation of numerous labor-intensive job opportunities. However, China and Hong Kong encounter comparable challenges. Hong Kong, known as a financial center, primarily focuses on technology-intensive and knowledge-intensive industries. This concentration poses a problem as it fails to ensure employment for a significant portion of the local population. The absence of jobs and income for a large number of individuals can be deeply concerning for a country, particularly when coupled with a decline in population. Furthermore, due to the inadequate development of China's primary and secondary sectors, specifically agriculture and industry, the country's ability to support its population through productivity is significantly limited. According to United Nations statistics, the per capita contribution rate, which reflects the ability to sustain a complete labor force, is above 4 in countries like the United States, Europe, and Japan. South Korea's rate stands at 3.8. While China is slightly above 1, this disparity means that in other countries, the labor of one person can support 3 to 4 or more individuals, whereas in China, it can only support a little over one person. This situation becomes concerning when China's working age population declines and the elderly population increases, straining the country's resources. Additionally, China's industrial structure is highly irrational, lacking job markets and opportunities for those who need employment. This issue has now affected college graduates, with both undergraduate and graduate students facing significant employment pressures. The unemployment problem extends from the elderly to recent graduates. With limited labor productivity supporting a growing population, the challenges of marriage and childbirth becomes apparent. The majority of Chinese individuals view marriage as a means of procreation, as it requires favorable material conditions. Otherwise, couples may choose to live together without formal marriage. In this context, the question of how to support child rearing arises when the combined labor contribution of two individuals cannot adequately sustain even the elderly. The availability of resources for raising children becomes a pressing issue. Ultimately, only a small percentage of people with favorable material conditions and environments can afford to have children. What about the population of China's civil servants? With approximately 100 million employees in the vast bureaucratic system of the Chinese Communist Party, the stability of employment conditions for civil servants, as well as those in state-owned enterprises, contract workers, and temporary workers, is questionable. Their income situation is often unstable, as evidenced by wage arrears prevalent in many parts of China. In some cases, they are even required to secure loans from banks to support their respective organizations. So, how effective can the economic stimulus policies implemented by the CCP be? The 2022 Central Economic Work Conference held last year provided guidance for China's economic development in 2023, highlighting three key industries: real estate, new energy vehicles, and elderly care. These industries were identified as pillars to support China's transition towards a domestic demand-driven economy. However, it is doubtful whether these industries can truly serve as pillars. The idea of relying solely on domestic demand to promote economic development is unfounded, as it requires increased income as a prerequisite. When China fails to address issues such as labor force employment and income growth, promoting consumption as an economic driver becomes mere rhetoric. This reflects the current situation in China. Based on the decisions made during the Central Economic Work Conference last year, the choice of three industries as pillars is questionable. Among them, relying on domestic consumption to drive the economy seems unreasonable, while relying on foreign trade appears more logical. By making domestic demand, which lacks a strong foundation, the primary driving force for China's economic growth, it becomes apparent that the decision makers within the CCP lack capable individuals. This situation also suggests that the CCP is unable to devise practical and effective stimulus policies. China is facing a significant population decline, with over 6 million newborns recorded this year, but next year's numbers are projected to drop to around 4 million. This decline in newborns, coupled with the decreasing number of marriages, raises concerns about how to sustain such a large country with a substantial population base. The real estate market in China has been struggling, as I have mentioned multiple times in my previous videos. Now let's talk about China's new energy vehicles. China's car manufacturers have achieved impressive sales figures and aspire to become the global leader in this industry. The demand for electric cars is particularly high. China currently boasts the highest sales volume of electric vehicles worldwide. However, a survey conducted in Europe revealed that Chinese electric vehicles only constitute 2% of the total sales of electric vehicles overseas. In China, there is a widening discrepancies between the reported sales figures provided by major car manufacturers and the actual number of electric vehicles that are registered and insured each month. This gap has reached a significant level of 40%, meaning that 40% of reported electric vehicle sales are not genuine. The whereabouts of these electric vehicles are unclear, as they are not visible in foreign markets either. Furthermore, there is a notable disparity between the number of license plate applications and insurance purchases within the domestic market. This phenomenon can be attributed to high financial penetration. The financial penetration rate for new energy vehicle in China exceeds 64%. Essentially, these vehicles were not sold directly to consumers. Instead, intermediaries placed orders with the car manufacturers, obtained loans from banks using the assessed value of the vehicles as collateral. The loans provided by banks served as payment to the car manufacturers. Intermediaries then sell the cars in the market. The sales proceeds were used to repay the bank loans, redeem the vehicles, and deliver them to customers. The extent of financial penetration is remarkably high at 64%. Therefore, although car manufacturers boast impressive sales figures, the reality is that these sold vehicles are similar to stalled real estate projects. They are stuck in the intermediary stage. If a day comes when these vehicles cannot be sold, the intermediaries can easily declare bankruptcy, since they are limited liability companies. In such a scenario, banks will be unable to recover their loans and will have no choice but to auction off the electric vehicles used as collateral. This situation resembles the large number of auctions for second-hand houses that have occurred in China. It is estimated that in the latter half of this year, or at the latest next year, there will be a significant increase in auctions for electric vehicles used as collateral, leading to a rise in repossessed vehicles. So, why do car manufacturers continue to produce such a large number of vehicles? It is because the impressive economic data and the GDP figures create a favorable image. Local governments push banks and financial institutions to provide financial assistance to these car-selling entities. But what does it mean when the penetration rate reaches 100%? It implies that all vehicles are purchased by financial institutions and they are used as collateral for loans at the banks. This unveils the truth behind the Chinese electric vehicle market. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.